Hey, Advance Your Reach team, Pete, Pat, Jed, all you guys, thank you so much for what you've done for me and really impacted me. And it was very powerful what I went through. And I think you're going to hopefully find that into this video. Uh, and with that, let me take you back a few years. I was leading an executive roundtable as a forum of sort for leaders. And during one of the breaks, a guy came up to me as an architect friend, and he said, "Bill, I didn't know you were so good in the construction industry." And I said, "Well, and back in the day, before I got into the consulting and coaching that I do now, uh, I was doing high-rise buildings and so forth." And he says, "What made you so good?" And I said, "Well, I was just doing my job." And he said, "No, there's more than that." And I said, I could kind of tell he wanted to know something deeper. So I said, "You really want to know?" And I kind of leaned in and I said, "Fear. Fear is what drove me." Fear and leadership, it's not a good combination. It's kind of like kryptonite is to Superman. When we fear as a leader, there are a lot of decisions we're going to make wrong. There are things that we're going to have people around us that are going to feel that. Uh, Fear for me, in many of the things that I was doing, I found I had a fear of failure, a fear of rejection, the fear of man. Those things underline some of the worries that I had or the anxieties I was feeling, trying to get the work done and all that stuff. Those were the underlying things. Well, I found the antidote, and the antidote I want to share with you comes in three ways. You got to identify the fear, then you got to nullify it, and in the nullifying it, you identify the truth of who you really are, and then walk out and magnify the truth in you. Those three things will transform you from a fear person to what I'll call a loving person, because I believe love is the most powerful force on earth. Let me share with you a couple of stories about that, but before I do, there's something that might help you in this thought process in our transformational leadership program that I'd like to share with you. If you want to pull out your phone and type in my website, you can contact me there. It's newgatesllc.com. I'll send you one of the things that we teach is called TFA, change a thought, you change a feeling, and you change an action. I think it'd be really powerful for you to get. So just email me that, and I'll be glad to send it to you. It'll help you understand this idea of identify, nullify, and then magnify. But let me tell you a couple of stories that were in my construction days that'll help embellish them. One's a negative and one's a positive. The negative story was when I was doing a 30-story building, about a $100 million project, and we were getting the job done. Everybody was happy from the standpoint of the production and the way that it was coming across in quality. And we ended up saving millions of dollars on that project, by the way, for our company. But the team around me was in mutiny. They wanted to throw me overboard. They called my executive director and said, "We want him off the team." So the executive director said, "Hey, talk to him first." And they came to me and they said, "Bill, you either got to change or we're out of here." And I decided to change. And I think at the end of the project, when the owner of that building said, "Hey, Bill, I want to give you a bonus for that," I was able to take that bonus and give it to the people. I had a little bit for me, but we shared alike in that because the team really won the day. That negative experience was what drove me to get out of fear. Here's where fear began to show up even more when I ran my own company. A guy came to me and we did a job for him, and at the end he wanted to, I knew, I had known him, worked with him before, and he always likes to kind of cut the numbers at the end of the project. A lot of contractors face that, and that was a fear of mine. And so instead of going in with fear to this last meeting, I went in and said, "Lord, how can I love him well?" And so we got to the meeting. I went to the meeting, and he comes in with a stack of papers. But before I got there, I said, "Lord, how do you want me to love him?" And he said, "Ask him about his mom." And so I did. And I said, "Hey, how's your mom?" And he started crying. And I said, "What's going on?" He said, "She's got an illness." And I said, "Can I pray for her?" And we prayed. And his whole demeanor changed. His whole countenance changed. And guess what? He didn't care about the papers. He wrote me the check. Now, I'm not saying that's the way you resolve everything and complications or whatever, but I want to assure you that is love is the most powerful force on earth. It overcomes fear and the fear of everything else around us. Try it and see what you think. God bless you.